Oh, hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, welcome to today's video and welcome to another Makeup and Movie Monday. I hope you're doing very well. So I'm just making myself laugh because of that intro. But yeah, it's Monday and that means we're back on track for another Makeup and Movie Monday. So if you are new, hello, I'm Ameena, and every Monday I like to, well, most Mondays when I don't do every Monday, but I try to do every Monday. I basically talk about a film and I put on makeup. So this was influenced by Bailey Sarian, who does like makeup and mystery murder Mondays and stuff, and a lot of people do very similar things, but this is influenced from her. But I'm going to be talking about movies, and last month in October I did a whole month dedicated to horror movies because of Halloween. But now I'm back on track to do just all genres, to be honest. But to be honest, horror movies are like my favourite genre, so I might occasionally add in a film here and there. But today we're talking about a very interesting film. You might have heard of it. It's The Room by Tommy Wiseau, because why the hell not? So yeah, as always, the makeup's always going to be kind of like secondary to me talking about the film. Obviously I'm trying to like multitask, and every so often I'll be like, I'm just gonna do this and this and this, but you'll kind of see as I go along. So yeah, let's talk about what essentially is named the worst movie of all time. So yeah, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about The Room, which came out in 2009. So it's been out for quite a while now, considering, you know, when it first came out, absolutely no one really kind of knew about it because it's an independent movie. So it's, be prepared for this. It is directed, written, produced, starring Tommy Wiseau, and he is a very interesting human being, to say the least. If you haven't seen what he looks like, just Google him. He is a very interesting looking person. I'm not like, you know, I'm not bashing his looks, like, you know, people can look wherever they want, but the way he talks and the way that he is very interesting. I mean, he has an accent. I don't know where he's from. A lot of people are kind of like speculating where he's from, but I really don't know. But anyway, yeah, so he pretty much does everything with this movie. Yeah, like I said, he's in it. So he is the main character called Johnny. That's just, oh my god, every time I think about this movie it just makes me laugh because I love it so much. It's such a, because essentially it is like the worst film ever made, but I think there are worse movies out there. This has a lot of heart to it. So yeah, essentially it's about a guy named Johnny, and he has a fiance named Lisa, and they you know, happy couple, you know, they're engaged to be married, and you know, Tommy knows Johnny is like a successful kind of computer analyst, I think, or something like that. And they live in this tower block, and his best friend Mark lives there as well, and his kind of adopted son, friend, weirdo named Denny. And essentially what happens is that Lisa is kind of a stay-at-home girlfriend because, you know, Johnny makes a lot of money and he doesn't really want her to work, so she's like bored at home, kind of like on becoming a housewife, but she is pretty bored with it. She wants like adventure, excitement, you know, just the whole kind of things that a girl would want. And so she starts having, oh, this is spoilers, I mean, this movie's been out for ages. If you haven't seen it, or if you haven't like heard about it, please watch it, it's amazing. So yeah, she starts to have an affair with Mark. What a bitch. And yeah, it kind of goes a bit tits up. I mean, well, there's a lot of that in this film. Yeah, and just some crazy consequences just happen, you know. It's a story about a love triangle, even though Johnny doesn't know what's happening. He obviously doesn't really know that Lisa and Mark are banging behind his back. he kind of gets inklings here and there, but it never kind of comes apparent until his birthday, which is like the last maybe 15-20 minutes of the film. Not even 15-20 minutes. It's literally like quite like late into the film. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it today was because it's so special. It's such a special film. I remember hearing about this when, who told me about it? I can't remember. I think it was definitely a friend of mine who was like, oh, you need to check out this film because this guy is mental. Like literally, Tommy Wiseau is one of the weirdest people ever. He's definitely very egotistical, and he thinks he is an amazing movie maker. Like he's a bit like Neil Breen in the sense of, if you know who that is, then you would probably understand where I'm coming from. These movie makers who like independently fund their movies, and they kind of, you know, find ways to get a budget, which I'll talk about in a minute, especially for this film. And like star direct, always having like the most amazing kind of sex scenes, and always topless and having the hottest girl. But even in this movie, he, you know, the girl who plays Lisa, I think she's, you know, she's a very beautiful woman. And obviously, I don't know how many people he kind of, how many people apply to be in this movie, but to kind of have a fake love, like sex scene with him, I mean, it's interesting what people do for money. But yeah, so then it's like I said, like the budgeting, I don't 100% know if it's true, but on IMDb or like Wikipedia, it says that he imported leather jackets, which sounds like a drug bust basically, to fund for this movie. And can you believe that the budget for this film was $6 million? $6 million. I mean, if it was like 1 or 2 million, okay, I get it. But 6 million, what the fuck was he doing with 6 million? Because if you have seen this movie, you will know it does not freaking cost 6 million, because most of it is on a green screen. Like you can see it's a green screen every time they're on the roof, like the infamous like roof scenes. It's definitely green screen. You like, I don't understand why you would need a green screen if you have a perfectly good roof, but I guess you know, you just have to use a green screen. If you've got one, you might as well just use it. But then yeah, it's so weird because the whole kind of build up of the film is, I mean, obviously when it first came out, people absolutely hated it, and then after a while he was like, oh yeah, it's meant to be a comedy, even though in the beginning he kind of was like, oh yeah, it's a really serious film, I'm, you know, having so much kind of passion and very serious topics. And then when people started taking the piss out of it because it's so fucking bad, he was like, oh yeah, it's a comedy and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, this is only a comedy because it's funny for what the people were doing and the way it kind of works. I forgot to show you guys, I have my t-shirt on today. I bought this when I went to see it at the Prince Charles Cinema. So I've mentioned Prince Charles in my on my channel before because it's an amazing independent cinema in Leicester Square that has like events and obviously is a cinema. Oh my god, sorry, this highlight is actually so gorgeous. Yeah, so I've seen the room there. I think I've seen it twice, and the first time I saw it, Tommy and Greg Sestero, who plays Mark, were there, and I got to meet them. In the, hopefully like in the thumbnail, I'll add the picture of me when I met them, because it was one of the funniest things ever, because I had gone with one of my friends and this was like a Q&A that they were both doing, and what had happened was they hadn't even opened yet and I really needed to use the bathroom, and I just said to the people that worked there, and I was like, can I please just use the bathroom downstairs and I'll come straight back up, I won't go in the screen or anything, I promise. And they were like, oh yeah, that's totally fine, go ahead. So as I walk to the toilets for the Prince Charles, there's an upstairs screen and the downstairs screen, which is the big one where it was, and there's like a bar where they tend to have the stand for like merchandising or anything, and that's when you could meet like Greg and Tommy to like get stuff signed and pictures. as I went downstairs to the bathroom, I saw the table of all the stuff, and I was like, okay. As I came out, Tommy was standing there, and I was like, hi, and he was like, oh hi, how are you? I was like, I'm good, I'm come to see the film, I'm really excited. And he's like, oh, do you want a picture with me? And I was like, okay, yeah. And he's like, where's Greg? Where's Greg? So then he called someone for Greg to come over so we could have a picture together. And this is strange. I was wearing just like a really like a top, and I had like my coat on because I think this was like during winter time. And Greg was like, oh my God, I love what you're wearing. And I was like, thanks. Like I remember I was just wearing like a skirt, and I was just wearing my coat, so you can't really see what I was wearing. It's like, oh, I really like what you're wearing. I was like, all right, don't come on to me, this is weird. But I mean, they were both really nice, and I bought this t-shirt, and it was just one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had. And even the first and second time I saw it in the cinema, it's the most fun I've ever had in a screen, because the audience get really involved. Like what I love about Prince Charles as well, like they have, like I said, they have events, and they have a Rocky Horror one as well, which I've been to, and then people like shouting at the screen and singing along. And when it comes to The Room, if you haven't seen it before, don't watch it at the Prince Charles. Make sure you watch it first, like maybe with a group of friends who haven't seen it, or even by yourself. Obviously there's nothing wrong with watching the film by yourself, because you need to take it all in, because when you go to the cinema, you're not going to hear a thing. Not that you want to see this film based on, you know, the merits of the story or the script, because the script is pretty fucking bad, but you should watch it based on just like getting the feel of this film. And I feel that watching it at the Prince Charles is not going to be as kind of rewarding unless you have seen it before. And when I watched it, oh my God, this thing, the second time I didn't realise it was a thing where, so there's every time they're in the front room, there's a picture of a metal spoon. Why, I have no idea, because why is anything in this film, but every time the spoon comes on screen, people start throwing plastic spoons to the screen. Obviously they don't let you bring in metal spoons because it will damage everything, so you can bring plastic spoons with you, and there's always people shouting and like quoting along and shouting and screaming. And honestly, it's a little bit annoying in the beginning, but once you get into it, it is so fun. And I really recommend that, obviously when the pandemic's over, and if Tommy and Greg ever come back to London, which they do, they come down to London like maybe once or twice a year, for multiple nights, and they do multiple screenings, especially at Prince Charles. They even have like a midnight showing, and then they have like I said, throughout the day, and they are doing Q&As as well, and they always sell out. So obviously they're making a lot of money coming here. And it's weird how a movie that made like no money in the cinema has now become like an iconic film, and well, for many reasons, an iconic film, and is now making more money than he could have ever imagined. Because obviously when you make movies as an independent kind of filmmaker, you want your film to do really well, especially if you're trying to get your name out there. But I mean, he got all this just by people talking about it and on the internet, because it's so strange and so interesting. But I really love this film. It brings me so much joy every time I watch it. And there were times when I watched it just when I was so bored, because I got it on my laptop. And I know it's a strange film to watch when I'm bored, but if you're ever feeling down or anything, please watch it. It just, like, you kind of get confused, and like, I think it's freaking hilarious. It's just such it's a strange film, but it it just makes me laugh every time I think about it. But yeah, every time I've gone to the Prince Charles cinema, it just, you go out and you know that you've had a good time, because everyone is there for the same reason, to just take the piss out of this film. And I know there's been like tons of reviews about it, kind of like bashing it and why is it the worst film ever made and stuff like that. And like I said, yeah, it's really shit, but it's shit on so many levels that you just have fun watching it. Like, don't take it so seriously. Obviously he would, like, Tommy wants people for it to be serious, but you really cannot watch this movie and go, oh yeah, this is an Oscar winning movie, and go out thinking, yeah, this movie is one that's going to be there for years to come. I mean, it is, because the amount of people that are still talking about it, like, obviously it's strange that I'm talking about it, but I like to talk about very, like, niche films sometimes, movies that you probably think, like, why the fuck is she talking about this? But that's because I want to bring light to these films somehow, even though obviously my channel is still really small, but it's still fun for me to talk about these films that I'm really passionate about. I know that's really strange to talk about The Room and say that I'm passionate about it, but it's because it's just such an uplifting movie, and I really recommend people to watch it because it's great. I'm just going to put on my lower eyelash, but since making The Room, Tommy's made, I don't know if he actually directed these movies, but they're called Best Friends or something like that, which also stars Greg Sestero, who plays Mark. I've seen the trailers, I haven't seen the film. It doesn't look that great, surprise surprise, but it seems interesting enough. I might check them out one day if they're playing at Prince Charles. Just gonna put this eyeliner on with a bit of concentration, so if I don't talk a lot, it's because I'm breathing in. Okay. But this movie has endless amount of quotes, so if obviously you know the "You're Tearing Me Apart, Lisa," that is obviously the most iconic quote ever. It's even been parodied by The Simpsons, which I found freaking amazing. And obviously you've got the "Oh hi Mark," which is one of the most strangest lines you can ever say, especially when you're trying to have like a heart. Oh fuck, I just got my eye. I'll sort that out in a second. Like a really intense scene. And then you've got "I definitely have breast cancer," which is, you know, amazingly spoken by Lisa's mum, who you meet like a couple of times. And then I think one of my favourite characters, this is so strange, but Denny is one of the most interesting characters in Hollywood, because he is clearly played by a middle-aged man but has the mental like capacity of like a 15-year-old, because there's a scene like right in the beginning when you meet him, Johnny and Lisa, I don't know, this is such a strange thing, they're like going upstairs to like have a bit of peace and quiet, and then he follows them and they start having a pillow fight, because why not? Yeah, he just like starts having a pillow fight with them, and then Johnny's like, "Isn't there somewhere you should be? Like, do you not want to leave us alone?" And he was like, "Oh, I like to watch you guys." And it's just like, get out of here, you weirdo. And then one of the funniest scenes, it's not even that, well, the whole film is very funny, unintentionally, but when they're having like Johnny's birthday, this is like right at the end, and then when it comes apparent that Mark and Lisa are having an affair, they just start making out in front of everyone. Like, okay, I know she's fed up of like hiding, but honestly, if the whole point of keeping this a secret, and then you just start making out in front of everyone on your fiance's birthday. Quite shitty, Lisa. You're a bitch. And then when she tells everyone that she's pregnant, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" She's like, "Yeah, there's no baby," and it's like, you're crazy. He really wrote women in a really bad light, even though obviously she cheated on him with his best friend and everything. Yeah, he doesn't put women in the greatest of light. I'm just gonna put lipstick on, so I'll be quiet for 1 minute. This lipstick is not as pigmented as I am hoping. Anyway, we're just gonna skip that over. But yes, that, ladies and gentlemen, is The Room by Tommy Wiseau. Please let me know what you think of the film, if you've seen it. What's your favourite scene? If you like it, if you hate it, please let me know, because like I said, I freaking love this movie. It's so strange and funny at the same time. Yeah, if you haven't seen it and I've spoiled it, I'm sorry. Please check it out, because it's like an hour and a half of just fun. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I film and upload every time I get a chance to, when I'm in the rhythm. And yeah, next Monday is actually gonna be my birthday, so I'll see if I do a makeup movie Monday, or I might do something else based on it, because I'm gonna be 33. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.